I spent $192 on this game, and all I got were these Nyx hats. Welcome back, everyone. I have played some Star Wars Outlaws, and I have some thoughts for you on how I'm feeling about this game so far. So far, I've put in, I think, about 8 to 10 hours. I think I'm somewhere in that mark. I honestly was playing for longer last night than I had intended to play. Also, if you don't know, I also stream here on YouTube. You can check it out in the live tab. I also stream at twitch.tv/vampex13, so you can check me out over there. If you like video games, I play video games. I also cosplay sometimes. I do Legos. I do lots of stuff. But yeah, click that live tab. Check it out. It's pretty fun. We were streaming last night. I'm probably streaming right now, honestly. Probably streaming more Star Wars Outlaws because this game, I can't stop playing it. So yeah, I stayed up last night until about 2:30 in the morning because I just was engrossed in what I was doing. Let's talk about what I'm loving about this game, and then I do have a criticism as well that I'm going to hold off for the end of the video, so stick around for that. So in this game, something that I really love about it is I feel like it has some of the most amazing atmosphere. From the beginning of the game throughout, I felt completely immersed. I felt even more immersed when I realized during my stream last night, you can turn off the cinematic mode and just have full screen, which I think I played with cinematic mode for most of it, and I was still fully pulled in. And when I went full screen on my monitor, I was like, wow, I am so in the world. I just love how rich the atmospheres feel. I love how all of the characters have all these little bits of dialogue that every time you walk past them, it feels like you're walking past a story for like someone else that maybe has their own game. It's very rich, the world, and that is something that I really appreciate and admire about this game. I think the design is also really cool. I do think that in some areas it could be a little bit more dense, but I don't know. We haven't really gotten into any, I don't want to say any major cities, because we've been to some cities in the game so far, but I haven't been to like Coruscant or anything like that. And I feel like if we're talking about a really densely populated area city, that's probably the place where we'd see that. So I was thinking back to, you know, the comparisons of the nightclubs from Starfield and Cyberpunk, and then how do some of the cantinas and bars fit in terms of the Star Wars Outlaws game, and I feel like they're pretty well populated for the areas that we're in, but some people also might think that maybe they're a little too sparse. I could see that being a criticism. Speaking of the characters, though, that we have in this game, not only is every NPC you walk past feel like they have their own backstory, which also feels so Star Wars. I feel like George Lucas would be proud of that. As we all know that George Lucas has a name for like every character in Star Wars. Glup Shido, I'm looking at you. But I think the other cool thing about this game is that the characters that we interact with directly is Kay Vess, including Kay herself, and obviously also Nyx, gotta mention Nyx. All of these character models are really expressive, and I think the acting for this game so far has been pretty top notch, and I love how there's that scene early on between Kay and Bram, and Bram's emotion in his face, like, wow, these are some really great models, and I'd really love to see some behind the scenes mocap footage of what it was like acting out some of the scenes as the characters, because yeah, people are crushing it right now. Like, they're crushing it. Also, shout outs to Waka, who I think is also going to be one of my favorite characters in this game. So far anyways, like I said, I'm only about 8 to 10 hours in, but I'm really loving everyone's acting and all the voices in this. Speaking of these characters bringing the game to life, I would be remiss if I didn't mention one of my favorite characters, who I think should honestly get their own game. Let's be real. I feel like instead of Kay being the main character, I think Nyx should be the main character. I love Nyx so much. Nyx is best boy, and this also extends to the gameplay mechanics as well. I love how Nyx is this character that we get to team up with throughout the game. Nyx feels like a character that is not just our pet, but is also our best friend, our confidant. Nyx has their own personality. They are such a little scoundrel, and I love like the scampy scoundrel nature that we get with Nyx that's established in the game through the story and the way that you interact with Nyx and Nyx interacts with the world. I also love how Nyx is part of the gameplay as well. Nyx is this character that you can send out to do things for Kay, that you can use in attacks. You You can use them to distract. So the really cool thing about this game, actually, just even in relation to Nyx and all the cool ways that you can use Nyx in your exploration and in your battles, is that it feels like they really built a lot of different ways for you to approach a situation. So when you are in combat or when you are sneaking around, there's not just one way you can go about approaching a situation. You could go in guns a-blazing, you could be more stealthy, and there's lots of different options, I think, as well. As we go into this game, I think there'll be a lot of options for how we ultimately even complete quests and the way that we want to see those things play out. That'll probably also affect some of the world around us, which, yeah, like I said, it's rich. It's rich. Also, the other day, someone came in and asked me, Hogwarts Legacy or Star Wars Outlaws? First of all, don't put these two games against each other. If you've watched any of my lives here, if you've been around for a while, thank you for being around for a while, first of all. But I played Hogwarts Legacy when it first came out. I really want to go back to that game. I haven't finished it yet, but put tons of hours into Hogwarts Legacy, and I love it. I really love that game. But I'm not going to say that I think Star Wars Outlaws is a better game than Hogwarts Legacy, but I am going to say I think the story is going to ultimately be better for me. I just feel like so far the story has really pulled me in. A lot of the cinematics, when we get pulled into a cinematic, I get excited to see what's going to happen next in the story. I don't want to give away what's going on, and I think the story is still like being established even. I just will say that I think the story so far seems really great. I can't wait to see where it takes me. I can't wait to see where it takes Kay, and I can't wait to see the far reaches of what this story is, like how big this story will be in the world. I don't think it's going to be too big, but I don't think it's going to be too small. I think it's going to be just right. The three bears of stories. I don't know. The Goldilocks of stories. I don't know. But I think it is going to be a pretty big story as well. I'm invested right now. I'm like, give me Star Wars Outlaws everything at this point. We'll see how I'm doing when I'm like 50 hours in, and if I'm still loving it as much, but that's where I'm at right now. However, this game doesn't come with just praise. I do have a little bit of criticism, but it's very slight. I do have a little bit of criticism for you. So if you are looking for that, gather round, friends, because let me tell you about this criticism. I got a bit. Last night, I was playing late into the night, and I did get a bit frustrated when I was sneaking around. Ultimately, I think that's just because I was very exhausted, and so I was missing things that probably were very obvious to me, so I want to put a lot of the blame of that on me. But during the sneaking mission that I was on, where I basically was infiltrating the Pike base, I also had a moment where I was trying to solve a puzzle kind of how to get across a room. Like, you're trying to just move across this room. You're not sneaking. You're just trying to figure out, how do I get from here to here? I love puzzles. First of all, I want to say I'm a big puzzle gamer. But I struggled to figure out where I was supposed to go because I wasn't sure if surfaces around me were climbable. And I will say, I feel like that element of the game has thrown me, where sometimes I look at the texture of a wall and I think, based on other stuff that I've climbed before in tutorial modes where it's told me you go there, you climb, I should be able to climb that. And then I try and I'm like, I can't climb that. There are also times when you can climb up on top of things and it feels like you should be able to keep going up, but then there are no other ledges for you to grab. So some of that to me is a little bit of an issue, but it also might just be that it's early. And as I play more, I'll become more familiar with which surfaces I can actually, jump onto, climb onto, cling onto, grapple from, all of that good stuff. I'm sure I'll know more what to look for with just once I've played more, but they could make that a little bit clearer, I would say. There are some things that feel like they're not as intuitive in this game, but it's always hard with that stuff because I'm trying to figure out, is that the game or is that me being a dum-dum right now? I think some of it is the game, and I think some of it is honestly me being a dum-dum right now. So yeah, that's pretty much it for my first thoughts. Is it worth the $190 that I've spent? I think it will be, but at this point, I've only played a bit, so I would say not at this point. However, I can foresee that this will be a game that when I get to the end of it, I'm going to say yes. Because here's the other thing. The game isn't just the game itself, but there are many fun mini games within the game. You can play sabacc in this game. And I gotta just, before I wrap this up, just say, gosh darn it, I love playing sabacc. Let me play more sabacc. I really could just play sabacc all day in the game, and that could be the game for me. I think it's going to be worth it. I'm still waiting on my little Nyx hats, though. I'm too early in the game. I don't have my Nyx hats yet, but I will say I'm excited for all the cosmetics, and even the cosmetics that have been previewed that I can unlock through missions. There seems to be like it's going to be a lot of cosmetics as well that you can unlock. So I will say if you're thinking about getting, you know, maybe one of those premium editions because they come with skins for the ship and hats and stuff for Nyx, you might not need that because I think there is going to be a lot of it in the game. And I thought maybe those were going to be the only things we'd get in terms of customizations for some stuff, but it seems like everything from your speeder to your ship to Nyx to your outfits to your weapons is going to be highly customizable as you go and you unlock more and more stuff, which I think is really cool. I gotta be honest with you guys. I think it's really cool. Anyways, I gotta go play some more Star Wars Outlaws right now. So like I said, do check out that live tab. That's it from me. Thank you so much for watching this. If you also want more content from me, I just started my comic book club over on Patreon, patreon.com/vampx13. Check it out if you like talking comics with me. We got some polls up there. Anyone that pays gets to vote, and I will be starting the comic book club very shortly. So get there early and join in on the conversation. I'll see you next time, and until then, friends, stay nerdy.